Last class, when explaining the complete process of the game from 0 to 1, we talked about planning art programs, game operation and other positions. So, what is the organizational structure of a game development company? What are the positions? What are the responsibilities of each position? In this lesson, we will learn about it together. Game development company. Usually teams of more than a dozen people, large teams of even more than 100 people. The current situation where hundreds of people develop a game, more and more common, different companies. Due to their different staff sizes and management methods. As a result, the price of its organization will be slightly different, but no matter how the department is divided, what does the management hierarchy look like? Overall, the job that is usually set up is the producer PM program, planning art test operation, etc. Because some positions require multiple people to be responsible, so there may be sub-positions regardless of position. First, let's take a look at game producers. The game producer is the first person in charge of the game project. He is also the top decision maker of the project. Throughout the development of the game, play the role of uploading. You need to report to your boss or investors. Downward need to coordinate the planning art program, etc. Horizontal also needs to coordinate operational testing, PMHR and other departments. At the same time, it is also necessary to control the progress and quality of the project, control the version timeline, seize the market opportunity, create a team budget. Therefore, game producer knowledge structure. It can be said to be more comprehensive. You need to understand both planning and art, need to understand operations, also understand the market and understand users. You even need to understand the program implementation. It is also necessary to be able to manage the overall cost of the project. Obviously, game producers don't start out. Rather, it has entered the gaming industry, grown up after many years. It takes a long time. Usually it comes from the experience and transformation of other positions. Under the producer is PM, the project manager. From the job title, everyone knows the responsibilities of PM. PM is generally responsible for progress control, quality management, performance appraisal, progress control, including monitoring and managing the progress of the entire project, understand the progress and efficiency of team members, reasonable distribution of work tasks, develop a work plan. Quality management is monitor and improve product quality. Performance evaluation is based on the performance of team members, evaluate their performance. PM as project management, need to manage various positions within the entire game project. Colleagues include programming, art testing, etc. Some companies. Responsibilities of project management. It may be the responsibility of the project manager or department director. Next, let's come in and take a look at other positions. At the game company, basically, the underlying logic of all functional modules. It's all coded by programmers. So, programmer. It is a very important position in a game development company. They are responsible for the development of game engines, game framework construction, database management, the implementation of the bottom layer of game business logic. Different game companies. It will vary according to its own business situation. Create different development positions. The job title may be slightly different. It can usually be classified as a front-end engineer, back-end development engineer, network engineer, engine development engineer, etc. The front end is the client side, mainly responsible for the functional development of the game client side of the underlying framework. The company will be established according to the actual business situation. Android development engineer, iOS development engineer, web development engineer, etc. The backend is the server side, mainly responsible for the function development of the game server, server-level framework, network protocol database and other related work. Some of the largest gaming companies, to ensure the stability of game services, safe and smooth network communication, there will be network development engineers. Full-time responsibility for the development of network communication modules, engine development engineer. Mainly some companies with self-developed game engines, created development positions, mainly responsible for the development of game engines. At the game company, functional modules developed by programmers, Most are designed or proposed by game design. Is a game fun? Can it generate sufficient profits for the enterprise? Largely determined by game design. Therefore, game design in a game company is a very critical position. Game design positions can be subdivided into copywriting, system planning, digital planning, executive planning, master planning, etc. The copywriter is responsible for the construction of the worldview in the game, responsible for the writing of the in-game plot. It's mostly text work, more suitable for liberal arts students. System planner is responsible for game functional gameplay design, responsible for the design of basic functional logic in the game. Digital planning is responsible, build a digital model of the game, perform digital configuration and tuning. Direct sales planning, responsible for the various basic execution operations of game design, refers to the execution of work. Master planner, responsible for coordinating the work of the whole plan, responsible for developing and leading the planning team, responsible for assisting producers in completing project development, at the same time, control the direction and quality of product development. There are some other jobs. Level design, for example, combat design, resource management, script design, audio management. It is also a planning position that needs to be considered and created. The aspect of calculation. Big game company. Special personnel may be arranged to be responsible for each module. I won't focus on it here. If you use the metaphor of building a car to describe the condition of the car, can be seen as a car designer, responsible for designing the overall jacket of the car. Programmers can be considered car assemblers, responsible for the implementation of various functional modules of the car, and ensure normal operation. The materials required for each of the various modules. Who will provide it? Right. Some students thought of the art team. When it comes to planning and designing games, the art team has already started to design the various art resources that need to be used in the game, including the original painting, 3D model, action effects, etc. A good game can be achieved through ingenious art design, create a true sense of immersion for players. So, art to a certain extent determines the game's appeal to players. Therefore, for game companies, art is also a crucial position. Art jobs designed by game companies. It is usually subdivided into these categories: game original art engineer, 3D modeler, action effects artist, UI designer, main beauty, etc. Original painting designer, mainly responsible for the game, drawing of original paintings of characters and scenes. 3D modeler, mainly responsible for the original painting, build 3D models of characters and scenes. Action special effects, generally responsible for 2D or 3D actions in the game, and the creation of special effects in the game. UI designer, generally responsible for the design of the user interface in the game, optimize user experience. Main beauty, responsible for managing and controlling the projects of the entire art team, progress and quality, monitor and ensure the entire game, in a unified art style, supervise the art team to use uniform norms and standard rules. Element named, responsible for cultivating and leading the art team. Some games, company art position. There will also be a split of CG and thus propaganda positions. Any legitimate game company, after the game is developed, it will not be directly launched, but to go through professional testers, perform multiple rounds of test validation, make sure the game function module is normal. There are no major flaws or loopholes, make sure the game runs smoothly. Good player experience, make sure the design is sound. It can well guide players to pay for upgrades. Overall, testing can be divided into black core testing and white core testing. Two aspects. Cooperative testing mainly focuses on the testing of game functions. Accept the game function according to the test force. For gaming experience, propose improvement suggestions or even improvement plans. Make suggestions to the planning department. White core testing usually involves verification of program code. Game testing tools need to be developed, automated testing and stress testing. So, white crane testing generally requires a certain code foundation. We'll use some power builders. It's usually developers who switch careers. Fortunately, in the formal research and development process, it usually takes 3-4 rounds of testing. Most companies build at least 3 environments. Environments are isolated from each other. ensure the independence and safety of their respective environments. Some companies will build for environments: the development environment, testing environment, simulation environment, production environment. The development environment is mainly used by programmers. After the programmer completes the development of a phase version, the gold code will be developed. Create a branch to the testing environment. Let the tester test it. Testers find problems during testing. Submit the bug to the developer. Repair. After passing the test, the current version of the testing environment. Create a branch to the simulation environment. Repeat the above test in the simulation environment. No problem. And then release it to the production environment. The production environment is an external user environment that can be accessed directly. For the gaming community, it's a game that external players can experience directly. After release to production environment, testers also need to be in the production environment. Run the test again. So division of labor. The development and testing process will not be overly dependent. It won't be because the test is not completed and cannot proceed to the development of the next version. It won't be because the development door is not completed. Testers have nothing to do. Therefore, to a certain extent, ensure the parallel progress of development and testing efforts. Greatly improved team efficiency. Also maximize. Ensure the security of the software system, reliability and stability. After the final test of the game is passed, make the game accessible to external players. The game needs to be released. This involves the release of the game. We mentioned that in the last class. Game distribution. You can find a professional game distribution company. There are also companies that integrate Yanyan. If it is an integrated company, there will be a game discovery post set up. Game publishing process and job responsibilities. We talked about it last class. It's not going to be emphasized here. It is important to note that the game is released in the domestic market. You need to apply for the version number in advance. And most overseas markets do not have a copyright policy. Due to our gaming platform, mainly for overseas markets, the application does not involve the game license number. Therefore, you can choose to use our game engine, one-click release after development. If it is a company that integrates wild transportation, operations positions are usually created. Operation and maintenance management positions is to make sure the game server level is working properly, responsible for setting up various environments for enterprise development, perform maintenance on various systems, network throughput and system response speed, monitor and optimize, cluster deployment and load balancing, protect against various cyber attacks simultaneously, set up the melting mechanism, do a good job of system backup and recovery. We talked about that last lesson. After the game is released, to achieve a good income, it is crucial to operate the game well. Therefore, almost all game companies, there will be a game operation position. The main responsibilities of game operations are: analyze player and user psychology, according to player and user characteristics, develop a sound promotion and operation strategy, aggregate and analyze operational data, proper handling of operational accidents, based on user feedback and operational analysis, propose product optimization suggestions, required game operation. It is best to have some writing skills, good data analytics skills, understand some psychological knowledge, master a certain marketing strategy, and have good communication skills. So far, we will analyze the organizational structure of the game company and job responsibilities, introduced it to everyone. So let's take a look back. Usually in game companies, the first person in charge of the project and the top decision maker is a game producer. The game producer has a PM below, responsible for managing the entire game project. Specific implementation. The various systems and processes of the game are designed by the planner, constructed by art, various visual effects in the game, by program, to implement the underlying logic of the game, the resulting game. Leave it to testers for functional and performance testing. The car is excellent for the game, optimized and improved. After the test is passed, it will be handed over to the issuance department. Game publishers are responsible for game distribution. After issuance, operation and maintenance personnel are required. Ensure the normal operation of the game background. Operators are required. Develop a publicity and promotion plan. Analyze operational data and user psychology. Adjust the operating strategy. Through this lesson, believe everyone's organizational jacket for game development companies and job responsibilities have a certain understanding. We'll find out together in the next class how to enter the gaming industry as a newcomer.